Welcome to Home Farm. Got myself a nice cup of coffee, and today we're going to be reviewing the Eve Smart Thermostat. We've had the Eve Smart Thermostats operating in the house now for about 6 months. This is going to allow us to give you a really good review of how they've been performing in our real life scenario. We have 12 radiators in our house, and each of them had a conventional TRV that was placed on every single radiator. The issue that we faced is that when it got cold, we had to run around from room to room, either turning on or turning off thermostats. What we realized quite quickly is that this just wasn't an efficient way of heating the house. After some research, I purchased 12 of these Eve Smart Thermostats. The installation was really simple. You simply went to the thermostat, you unscrewed the old one. We then took these out of the box, put the batteries in, and screwed them onto the radiator. After that, we installed the app on our iPhones. We simply started up the app, it found the new device, and it took us through a step-by-step process of installing that particular smart TRV on our phones. From a customization perspective, we were then able to state that this one was, for example, in the kitchen, or it was in the bedroom, or it was in the guest bed, or in the TV room. Most of the real work came from actually programming our heating schedules. That involved a lot of trial and error because each and every single room has got its own dimensions, different sized radiators, and requires its own heating schedules. So for example, our TV room, we want to maintain that at a temperature of 17 degrees during the day when nobody's in there, but we do want to get that up to 21 or 22 degrees by the time we want to go and watch TV. So typically what we've done with ours is we've set up our economy mode to run at 17 degrees throughout the day. Then at around 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the evening, we activate the smart TRV to call for heat. It then gets that room up to 21 degrees, so when we go in there it's nice and snug and warm to watch TV. The smart TRVs have been very good because they do regulate themselves, and to this point we have found the efficiency to be really good. Subsequent to installing them, we have upgraded our central heating system from oil to air source heat pump, and we've not really been able to monitor them too much. So what we will do come the winter this year, we will do a follow-up video to see how our efficiency compares to the smart TRVs running on oil versus how they are running on an air source heat pump. One of the negative points about the smart TRVs is that they run via Bluetooth. That means that when it comes to trying to update your heating schedule or to upgrade your firmware, you do physically have to go into the room that the smart TRV is in. The flip side of that is that Bluetooth consumes a lot less electricity. These units are battery powered, so that means the Bluetooth is not consuming too much battery. The manufacturers have stated that the batteries will last 1 year, and we've had ours for about 6 months, and that's pretty much on course, where the smart TRVs that are operating in rooms such as the bedroom and the TV room, where they are regulating themselves quite a bit, they're down to about 50% of battery charge. Other rooms like the guest beds where the radiators aren't opening and closing too much, some of those batteries are still at 70%. So I would assume that in rooms where you do have a lot of radiator activity, where the valve is opening and closing quite regularly, you are probably looking at about a year with the battery power. One of the other things worth mentioning is that we've never really used the different smart TRV, so we've got no points of reference to which we can actually compare them. What we have noticed is that when they open and close the radiator valves, they do make a little bit of sound, which we've realized in the master bedroom was quite interesting, because for the first couple of nights, as the radiator valves open and close throughout the evening, they do make a noise and they can wake you up. If you're a light sleeper, this might be an issue for you. We did, however, find that we were able to adapt to them quite quickly, and within a couple of nights you kind of hear them, but you don't take any notice of them and you carry on sleeping. What we really like about them is they are very smart, they're very elegant. We don't have a super modern house, but they do blend in very nicely on the radiators, and they just look really good. What we also liked about them is that you can install them either horizontally or vertically. We found that with some brands you had to make a decision in advance as to how many radiators you had that were horizontally or vertically installed. This might be a problem if in the future you change your radiators and then you've got one that connects horizontally and now it's a vertical attachment. You're probably going to have to get a new smart TRV. With these, it's really simple, because if you install it vertically or horizontally. They're predefined to work vertically. If you do want a horizontal installation, all you do is you go to the app and there's a little switch there for orientation, and it basically changes that number to start displaying the other way. What we also found quite interesting is that these are iPhone only. So if you do not have an Apple product, either an iPad or an iPhone, you will not be able to program and utilize or use or install these smart TRVs. The other point is, even if you do have an iPad or an iPhone, but you're not hugely techy, I think you might struggle a little bit with some of the programming schedules, because while they are intuitive and you can use the HomeKit if you're more comfortable with that, I do think a lot of people are going to struggle with the fact that if they want to regulate their temperatures or to change things, they do have to get their phone and make those adjustments or alterations. Next up, let's have a look at the app. I'm going to demonstrate this on my iPad. The features are exactly the same as the iPhone, except you'll be able to see a lot more on the iPad version. As mentioned, I have all of these smart TRVs installed throughout the house. We've got 2 inside the master bedroom. They do basically tally up to 12. So I'm currently in our next office. So we can see the radiator there. The temperature is currently set to 17.5 degrees. We can see from the mode setting that the radiator is on, and it also has a heating schedule. These are all of our heating schedules, which you can apply to different radiators throughout the house. We're currently looking at the annex office. You will see that I have set our comfort and economy levels for this particular room at 17.5 degrees. That means that the temperature of this room 24 hours a day is kept at 17.5 degrees. Now let's take a look at our TV room that's set up slightly differently. Because we like to keep our TV room a little bit warmer because we have got books in there, it is set to 19 degrees on its economy setting, which means that the room at its base temperature throughout the year is set to 19 degrees. Every day at 5 o'clock, the radiators will turn on and get the room temperature up to 23 degrees. At 9:30 in the evening, the radiators adjust themselves and get the room temperature back down to 19 degrees. As you can see, the firmware for this room has not been updated. I'm going to do that for you quickly just to show you how easy it is to update the firmware. You simply click Update Firmware, Update. It will now download the firmware update and transmit it via Bluetooth to the radiator. The firmware updates are typically quite small. You can see this one's going to take 30 odd seconds to download. The typical firmware update time is probably 1 or 2 minutes. The firmware update has now been completed. It's now going to restart the thermostat, which typically takes a couple of seconds. We have ours configured with the HomeKit, so it now shares that information with the HomeKit app, and within a short period of time we're fully operational. In closing, we hope that has given you a good idea of what the Eve Smart TRV is capable of, and we will be doing an updates in the course of the next 6 months or so that will give you an idea of how these smart TRVs perform with our air source heat pump.
Thanks for watching. You can also follow us on Instagram or check out our website at myhomefarm.co.uk. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you have any suggestions for any other videos you would like to see, please leave a comment. We hope to see you on our next video.